I'm at Lowe's picking up some black cow compost, and let's see what's new. They have these daisies by Monrovia called Whoopsie-Daisy. Cool name, right? $10.98. It's a 1-gallon container, and they're just a pretty traditional Shasta daisy. They have a few of these. There's also a cool purple flower here. Let's go see what that is. So this is called Genty Blue Bellflower. Pretty. Has a really nice vibrant blue color. Let's check out the specs on this one. This one needs some cleaning. I'm always tempted to clean these up when I'm here. Okay, so it says extreme cold hardiness, so that's great. Considering we're in 6B in the Northeast, we can get some cold winters. So light, 3 to 6 hours morning sun, watering semi-moist, and the maturity size is 16 to 18 high, 16 to 18 wide, blooms spring to summer, hardy to -30. I found what I believe to be the Monrovia equivalent of the Proven Winners Buddleia butterfly bush. This one here is called the Buzz Lavender Butterfly Bush. It is a full sun perennial. These are $10.98, so not a bad price for a butterfly bush. And these get to be 24 to 36 tall and wide. So 2 to 3 feet tall and wide, which is an excellent, nice compact size for a butterfly bush. It says it's water wise, so it can probably take a little bit of drought. And also 6 hours of sun, spring to summer, hardy to a -10, which is really good. It's pretty hardy, and they have it in this lavender color, and there's also a Buzz Hot Raspberry, so I'll go check that one out. But this is really good. Compact plants are great for any garden, because even though I have a good amount of space, you know, that fills out quick once your perennials start to mature. So these are pretty spent. It looks like they have to come in here and deadhead them, but don't be afraid to buy these plants, because look, there's a bunch of new buds already coming out. So all you do is clean this up when you get home, and these things will bloom for you until the hard frost in the fall. So these still have plenty of life left in them. But I can't show you the color of the lavender because unfortunately these are all spent. But here is some of the raspberry. So this is the Buzz Hot Raspberry Butterfly Bush, same specifications, 24 to 36 inches tall and wide. And there is the color on that. Here's some Annual Salvia by Monrovia. This one's called Misty Salvia. It's $6.48, which is actually $1 more than the last time I saw some Monrovia annuals. That's kind of pricey for an annual, to be honest. So these are dare resistant. They need 6 hours of light and 12 to 18 tall and wide, and they bloom summer and fall. And they look like they're going to be a really nice shade of that blue purple. Really beautiful begonia. So this one, look at this foliage. Really pretty. This one is called Nonstop Mocha Deep Orange Begonia. We'll check out the specs. This one is a low grower. It's 8 to 10 inches tall and wide. Blooms spring to summer, hardy to 40 degrees. So you could maybe overwinter this if you brought it in the house, you know, kept it in the basement, treated it like a house plant, but really pretty annual. Again, $6.48 on this one. If you recall in my last Lowe's video, I was in love with a Cora Louise Ito Peony that was stunning, but it was by Monrovia and it was $119. Well, today they have these Ito Peonies that are just labeled pink, and they're $59.98. Now that these don't have blooms on them anymore, they are past what they would consider prime in the garden centers, because when people can't see the blooms, they're less likely to purchase the plant, statistically. So these are probably going to get marked down, and if they do, they'll probably go 50% at $30, but this is a good time to pick them up. I don't know what variety it is. Again, it just says pink, but it does look really pretty by the picture. They have some Nelly Mocha Clematis. These look like they have a little powdery mildew on them, so just be careful when you pick these out. Another thing that I've seen increase in price, these a couple years ago were $12.98, then last year they might have been up to $14.98, and now they're $15.98. Man, it's making being a gardener a lot more expensive these days. I've never seen this perennial before. This is by Proven Winners, and it's a type of geranium. It's called Boom Chocolata. Tell you what, I already like the name. $15.98, and this is a perennial. It's full sun. It is a medium size at 24 to 26 inches, and need 28-inch spacing. It's full to part sun, and it blooms early to late summer, and hardy down to 35 degrees or zone 4. And I think how it gets its name is from the darker foliage. So it has this little cast of maybe like a brown or a red on the edges, and these sweet little lavender colored blooms. I'm pretty newly into Hosta, and I believe that this is a pretty popular one. It's called the Patriot Hosta, and this one's actually beautiful. It has that dark green with that creamy light. It's almost like a whitish color with a hint of yellow on the edges. Really pretty. This one's by Monrovia. It's $10.98, and let's check out how big it gets. It needs 1 to 3 hours of morning sun, semi-moist watering, 23 inches high by 50 wide, so that's a really good size hosta, and it blooms in summer. Blooming on hostas is just, it sends out this bloom stalk, and most of the time the color of the bloom is like a light purple. But these are really, really pretty. Talking about big, look at this hosta. This one gets to be 30 high by 70 wide. This is a big one. This is called Atlantis. Also really pretty. It's like the 2 shades of green, the darker green in the middle with the lighter green on the outside. Trying to get it in a shady spot so you can see what it looks like. Really pretty. They have some ladies mantle. This one is called Thriller, which apparently is a good variety of ladies mantle, or a more popular one. It is $8.98, and this one is hardy to zone 4, 8 inches high by 10 wide. There we go. Really pretty foliage on these, and this one's actually already starting to bloom. I found a bunch more with blooms. This is a really cool hosta. I've never seen this before. This one's called a Biqua Drinking Gourd Hosta, but look, the leaves are cup shaped, and they actually are like they would hold water. Really cool. These get to be, so they're hardy to zone 3, so really hardy, and 16 high by 24 wide. I found these really cute petite roses. This one's called Rosa Pretty Poly Lavender, and the blooms are itty bitty, like tiny. And it reminds me of like the name of it, Polly Pocket Small. Maybe that's where they get the name, I'm not sure. But they have them in that light pink, and then this pretty pink, like a darker, brighter pink. Really cool. Let's see how much these are. This is a 2-gallon container. Here's the tag on it. It's $24.98. This one's called Rose Pretty Poly Lavender. It looks like LAV would stand for lavender. Makes sense because it's like a light purpley pink. And it's by Bloomables. Let's see what they have on the clearance rack. So they have some of this Royal Candles Speedwell, and it was $8.98, so it would be $4. These are perennial, so if you take a look at them and they're not too far gone, you know, like this one still has a good amount of life in it. You can see there's some new blooms coming in. You would just have to take them home, clean them up, give them some love for a couple of days, maybe keep them in the shade and well watered. Not overwater, just well watered. See, like this one still looks pretty good. It just has some dry foliage at the bottom. So this would be a good bargain at like pretty much 50% off, because they're $8.98, you'd get it for $4. So a little less than half. But they have a good amount of things on the clearance rack, so this is a good stop. They have some bleeding hearts, and these look fine. They're just past their prime, so they don't look pretty on the selling floor anymore, but they're perennial, and so if you plant them in the ground, they more than likely will pop back up next year if they're planted and watered and established pretty well before the summer heat kicks in. So my store has about 1, 2, 3, 4 racks of clearance at the moment. They have this catch fly, still looks pretty good. Some calla lilies, which would be, an annual. Some spirea, if you were looking for some shrubs to start building out your landscape. Some salvia, so this is always a good staple perennial too. And look, this one looks in great shape. It still has blooms. $18 to $20 high, $16 to $18 wide. A pink salvia. They have some proven winners, Paint the Town Magenta Dianthus. And these also look in great shape, but just past their bloom cycle. And they would be 50% off. They've marked down their fruit trees, flowering, and shade trees for 50% off, but it does exclude Japanese maple. So those are considered ornamental. They're not part of the sale. But if you wanted to get maple trees, birch trees, fruit trees, eastern redbuds, those are all marked down, which is a great time. It's still cool enough. Here in the Northeast in Zone 6B, we're still getting about 70 degrees during the day, down to 50 to 60 at night, so it would still be a really good time to plant these trees in before the July heat takes over. So here's an example of a tree that's 50% off. This is a river birch, and it's $54.98, and it's a single stem, but still really healthy looking. So if you water these things regularly once you plant them, you should have a good chance of these things being great trees for a really good price. They have some new ornamental trees by Monrovia. This one's $104. These are not 50% off because these are ornamental. And this one here is a full partial sun. Looks like they get these pretty pink flowers. They almost look like lupin blooms, to be honest, like the way that the buds are. And it has the big heart-shaped leaves that we associate with redbuds that are beautiful. And here's the specs on this one. It's a 12 by 12, so a really nice compact shaped tree for your landscape. Really cool evergreen. This one's a Hollywood Juniper, full sun, $189. Whew, these are getting steep. And this one is 10 wide by 15 tall, so also considered a medium-sized evergreen shrub, which that's good. And you typically pay more for smaller and dwarf varieties because they're more compact, so they're slower growing and they take a lot longer for the nurseries to have to grow them. Okay, so this one here takes the record for the most expensive apple tree I've ever seen in my life. This is a Fuji Apple by Monrovia, and it is I know it's hard to see, but it is $184. It gets to be 20 feet tall by 20 wide. But you know what the bonus of this is? Look, at least you get an apple out of it. I'll tell you what though, it's going to take a long time to recoup your investment on this one. Here's a flowering vine. This is a peaches and cream honeysuckle, and the blooms look really beautiful on that. These typically have a really nice fragrance. And this one is $79, and they like full sun, 6 feet tall, and 1.5 to 2.5 wide. That's actually pretty good when you're talking about honeysuckle, because these things can get pretty large, wild, and unruly. So it's pretty compact as far as honeysuckles go. That's pretty color. Here is a Chateau de Chantilly Rose of Sharon. And this one's $114, and here is the blooms on them. Really pretty creamy color with like a red center and some hints of pink. This one gets to be 9 tall by 4 wide. I have to say, like, Monrovia plants, as pretty as they are super expensive. At least in my opinion. Welcome to the tropics. Just kidding, we're still at Lowe's. But look how pretty these hibiscus are. This evergreen here is really cool. This is an Austrian black pine, and it's priced at $79.98. I will tell you though that I did see one of these at Home Depot, another black pine, similar size, for $39.98. So you might want to just do some comparison shopping if you're in the market for one of these. So this one here, the average mature size is 60 high by 40 wide, and it's hardy in a -20, so you know, down to zone 4. It says not hardy in zones 1 through 3, but it is a really beautiful pine. Here are some Alberta spruce topiary for $129. If you buy one of these, you want to make sure that you kind of keep the shape and trim it regularly. Otherwise, it'll get all bushy and it'll just become a regular Alberta spruce after a while if you don't maintain its shape. They still have a good selection of arborvitae. There's a few different kinds here. The emerald green and the green giant. And this first one here is called, let's see, Dark American. I really like the shape of the arching branches on this one versus the emerald green. Green giant, in my experience, is one that can withstand, you know, they're pretty resistant to deer. My neighbor has a wall, you know, a living fence made of the green giant arborvitaes, and they are nice and huge at this point, and they've only been planted a couple of years, but they don't seem bothered by the deer, and we have a lot of deer pressure. Let's check out their evergreens. They look like they've restocked. These are called Fire Chief Arborvitae, Tuya Fire Chief, Congabi, so Tuya occidentalis, Congabi. And these are really beautiful evergreen shrubs with a rounded habit. And if you keep them in full sun, they have almost like an orange cast to them. So like a chartreuse green underneath with an orange cast on the top. Really, really beautiful. And look how different they are against the other evergreen colors. The yellow and the greens, they really stand out. They have Mr. Bowling Ball Arborvitae, and this one is $15.98. And let's check out the sizes. So this is 24 to 30 height and width, so 24 by 30. Really nice compact size for an evergreen shrub, and it looks like it takes on a rounded habit as well. Here's the specs on the Fire Chief Arborvitae. They get to be 4 by 4 tall and wide, and they are hardy to a zone 3, so really hardy. And these are $15.98. Some proven winners, double play red Spirea. And this gets to be 2 to 3 tall and wide, so a nice compact spirea. And this one already has some blooms on it. Nice pretty pink bloom. It's called red, but it looks pink to me. When I was here a couple of weeks ago, I didn't see this one, but this is the Checkmark Trilogy Weigela. So this is pretty new. And this one is, let's see the size on that one. It's 3 to 3.5 tall and wide. Really pretty. We'll see what size container this is. This is a 2-gallon for $27.98. And here are the blooms. Really pretty. Some emerald green Greengadi unanimous, and it's $14.98. This is also a really nice evergreen shrub that gives you pretty foliage with the variegation here, the green and the white. Very small leaves. And this one gets to be 4x4. Hardy to zone 5. They have emerald and gold unanimous. And this one here is, let's see, 4x4 also. And instead of being the green and white, this one is yellow and green. Also another really pretty evergreen. This one's also $14.98. Here's some that are a little bit bigger of the emerald and gold unanimous, and this one is $27.98. So they have two sizes, the $14.98 and the $27.98. It looks like the foliage gets larger as the shrub matures if we're comparing the $14.98 1-gallon to this 3-gallon. Lots of hydrangea. This is the original Endless Summer, and they get to be 3 to 5 tall and wide. And remember that the color on these blue hydrangeas will be blue if your soil is more acidic. There are things you can add to your soil that will acidify it a bit more so that you can ensure your chances of getting a blue hydrangea. But if your soil is more alkaline, you'll get those pink purple hydrangeas. The 1-gallon size is $21.98. This is the stuff that you can add to your soil to turn the hydrangeas blue. It's the Espoma Soil Acidifier. Here at Lowe's, it's $11.98 for this. It looks like a 6-pound bag. And here it is, in case you're wondering. Their heuchera is all bloomed out. So these would just need to be cleaned up, but really, you're growing these for the foliage. And this one is beautiful. This is the Dolce Silver Gumdrop. It has like that silver colored foliage with, it looks like a pink bloom. And let's see the size on this one. So it is a short one at 6 to 8 inches. And these are $12.98. Really pretty on this one. I've never seen this one here before, but this is the Proven Winners Mini Mauvette Invincible Hydrangea. So it's this beautiful mauvey pink color. It's a smooth hydrangea, so it has those big ball type blooms like the old-fashioned Annabelle. And these are hardy in zones 3 through 9, and they get to be 2.5 to 3 feet tall and wide. So really beautiful, compact hydrangea that you can tuck in your landscape. And it already has some bloom heads on it. Really pretty. Here's a tip. Always look for the ripped bags of compost. They sell them for 50% off. So here I found 3 bags of my black cow for 50% off. So I am pumped. You know what that means? Gives me more money for plants. And here's what I'm buying. I've been looking for this for a while. It's a wish list plant for me. It's the Proven Winners Denim and Lace Russian Sage. So here's the specs on the Denim and Lace Russian Sage. This is this beautiful, vibrant lavender type icy blue. and they get to be 28 to 32 inches tall and wide. And they're full sun. And what I like about these is that they are said to be more compact, which means they're less likely to flop and open up in the center. They also have a really nice fragrance. Here is some Midnight Masquerade Penstemon. It's a really, really tall Penstemon by Proven Winners. It is $15.98. It's perennial. And it gets to be 36 by 40 tall. Hardy zones 3 to 8. They have some Magic Show Ever After Veronica. $15.98. And these get to be 14 to 16 inches in height. Look at that. And I found some Shadowland Wee Hosta. These are really pretty. They have a ruffly type foliage. These are $12.98. And let's check out the specs on these. 11 to 18 inches, so really nice and compact. They have some Angelina Stonecrop. This is great as a ground cover, and it's really hardy. Does well even through the winter. It just changes color. It's not as bright. It gets more of an orange in the winter. And these get to be 3 to 6 inches high and 12 to 14 wide. And if they break off these pieces, you just shove them in some dirt and they will root so easily. I have them everywhere, and look how beautiful they are. Really pretty yellow. They have some lemongrass for $10.98. This is non-hardy, so this is an annual. And yeah, they're 6 high by 4 wide, so an annual grass. $10.98. And here they have some of this variegated grass, which is really pretty. Variegated Japanese silvergrass, $19.98. This is about a 3-gallon container, and it gets to be 6 high by 3 wide. $19.98. FYI, I did not rip this. Someone else took this tag out, and it was just like kind of leaning there. They still have lots and lots of summer planters. These whiskey barrel ones are $26.98. Here's some variegated oak grass. This is a really pretty whitish grass with the green center. And this one is 10 to 12 inches high and 10 to 12 wide. And it's $9.98. Hardy to zone 4. Here's my haul for today. I got 3 of these Proven Winners Denim and Lace Russian Sage and some clearance compost. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.